Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Venkatesh, working as application engineer, EGS Computers India. I am going to take the remaining part of what Dinesh left. Design happens with the 4 great modules of a design, validate, collaborate, and build. In that, we are going to first take a look on design module. That is the consumer product designs. So these are all the some of the few enhancements which has been raised by SOLIDWORKS 2016. Let's begin with the jug model. We are just going to modify the side profile of the jug model, in which it's going to reflect the surface profile of a jug. SOLIDWORKS 2016 introduced a new enhancement of basis curve boundary spline based on the degrees 3, 5, and 7. In which it gives us smoother curves. At any time you can replace our existing entities here with the new one. So this is an pre-existing spline. So now I am going to convert this into a style spline here, in which it is of a default degree of 3. So let's take a look how it gets reflects in a surface body. Yeah, it does change here. Next, what you're going to do is to get a true surface of this jug model. SOLIDWORKS introduced a new option in trim surface known as intuitive preview selections. Include, exclude, or else both can be viewed here. So with less confusion, now we can easily trim our surfaces with less amount of time. Since of a fully enclosed volume, we can easily create a solid here. Since these edges are too sharp, we are just going to apply fillet over there. SOLIDWORKS 2016 introduced a new option in this profile known as curvature continuous, in which it creates a smooth fillet over there. The next I am going to apply the same fillet over the handle part. Creating a variable fillet has always been create a lot time over there. In SOLIDWORKS 2016, in a very easier way, we are just going to create a variable fillet. Since we are working on one of a part of jug, we are going to create a full solid. Since this jug is of a thin wall parts, we are going to apply a shell of 1.5 mm over there. One more great enhancement has been introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2016 is we can able to find out the volume of a jug that the jug can hold. In a very easy way, we can find out the volume of a jug. So we can easily find out the volume of a jug. Always working on a sheet metal part, it always been easier in SolidWorks. SolidWorks introduced some of the few capabilities in which we can work more faster. Creating a swept flange in SolidWorks has always been a powerful feature. SolidWorks 2016 has been extended these capabilities. Now we can add standard or normal cuts throughout the braided region. Using the breadcrumbs, we can easily select required model which you want to open and edit. This bracket will not complete unless we create an edge flange and cut in that to make attached with the pillar. Creating an edge flange has always been a wide feature used in SolidWorks. So now we can create this edge flange longer than the attachment edge. It's a new feature in SolidWorks 2016. Okay, so this is the new feature enhanced in SolidWorks 2016. Next, we are going to switch to an weldment. So these are some of the few capabilities as been introduced in SolidWorks 2016. Building a structure in SolidWorks has always been faster and easier. SolidWorks 2016 has been introduced a new enhancement known as transfer material directly from a library profile, in which it reduces the effort and errors of calculating the mass properties. So to the left of the feature manager tree, the name structural member highlights with more descriptive names based on the type and sizes. Creation of end cap, inlet of structural member is an new enhancement of SolidWorks 2016. Now these capabilities has been extended. Now we can easily edit this end cap, modify the size and position of end cap based on the reference dimension, even on this curved beam. Now we can easily hide the individual bodies, not only bars, even a solid body as well as a surface bodies. Shift tab provides a reverse process of it. Cut list always been a powerful way to understand all the aspects of structural designs. So now SolidWorks 2016 introduced an enhancement of adjusting the individual column width and also the overall dialog. So this is introduced in SolidWorks 2016. Many of the customer requirement is creating a derived part to copy the structural member into a new part. So this has been introduced in SolidWorks 2016 here. By checking this option, we easily get a new part of individual structural member. Now you can see that some of the structural members are grouped together. In SOLIDWORKS 2016, the new enhancement is we can easily find out the total length of each individual bars and also the quantity which we can easily find out of each size and structures required to build the structure. So these are all the new enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2016, what's new of elements. Next, we are going to take a part on validate module. In that, first we're going to take a look on flatten surfaces. So these are all the enhancements. Many industry requires a flattened surface to identify the induced stress on the labeling part. Flattened surface has been introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2015. SOLIDWORKS 2016 has been extended this to the next level. We can even flatten internal cutout surfaces. Not only that, we can also add an additional entities onto our flattened surfaces, in which it makes the manufacturers to form the surface labeling surfaces. Common challenges faced by industry personnel is to identify the induced stress on the flattened surfaces. This can be easily found out using SOLIDWORKS deformation plots. Even the size of a component is modified, you can easily get an accurate result of an stretch and compression here. So to relieve this stress, SOLIDWORKS 2016 introduced a new feature known as relief cuts onto the flattened surfaces. By simply selecting an entire line, these induced stresses have been relieved. At any time, this can be exported into a DWG-DXF format for NC manufacturing. So we can export even on a current position. The next one is collaborate module. In that, first we're going to take a look on routing. Okay, so these are all some of the few enhancements has been raised in SOLIDWORKS 2016. What's new? Many of the assemblies follows the duct route to run the cables. Here we can easily add the connection between the duct to the control panels. By just selecting the control panels and the inlet of a duct, it easily forms the connection between both. The same to the outlet of the duct to the terminal connector. In a very easier way, we can easily create our routes. So SOLIDWORKS 2016 has been introduced a new enhancement. We can create an auto route for even for an rectangular ducts here. By just simply selecting the start and end points, cycling through the possible configuration here, we can easily adjust our route position. The next thing which you're going to make is just going to connect the remaining branches which is flying over there. These parametric routes enables the user to create and saves times. Not only stops here, this Also supports for round duct as well. Even for round duct it's possible here. SOLIDWORKS 2016 has been introduced a new enhancement in creating a flex cable, in which in recent trends of some of the components are modified into a compact devices. So this is a new feature of SOLIDWORKS 2016. What's new? These routes can be manipulated through the ribbon manipulators and also through the endpoints. Modifying the points can also be enabled here. So these routes can be manually created or also through an auto route flexibility. Through an auto route, you can easily connect the board to connectors. These flex cable forms a twist automatically. SOLIDWORKS suggests the possible solutions which you can find out. These are all some of the new enhancement which has been enhanced in SOLIDWORKS 2016 for routing process. Next, costing. Costing is a great tool for the manufacturing personnel as well as the designers. Even the designer can find out the estimated cost at the design stage itself, even before the product is not get manufactured. And also it is used for the quoting processes. So these are all some of the new enhancements introduced in 2016. What's new for costing? Let's begin with sheet metal capabilities. In previous case, we'll perform a cost based on a material weight. From SOLIDWORKS 2016, we can calculate the cost based on a sheet size also. Now you can calculate a cost based on a sheet size, and also SOLIDWORKS 2016 provides a percentage of scrap, total number of parts per sheet, and number of sheet per lot. So since it's of a sheet size is less, it requires 2 sheets. When the sheet size is large, it requires a single sheet. Not only stops here, we can also get a visual representation of a bounding box. So this is the box, come on. So by selecting this, a bounding box visual representation will be highlighted. This is a new option in SOLIDWORKS 2016. Next we are going to take a look on machining. In previous case, we have to define additional material for machining purposes, and also we have to add some additional operations manually for the steel parts such like zinc plating and anodizing. But SOLIDWORKS 2016 introduced an enhancement known as rule-based costing, in which it enables the user to set automatically add the additional operations. Here I define 3 rules here. When the circular size, the drill hole size is larger than 20 millimeter, directly convert into a milled circular pockets. So this is the first rule. And the second one is add the zinc plating when the material is chosen to and steel. Then third one is add stock, additional stock to the blank when it is chosen to the machining type. Adding a new rule is very easier way. Just specify the name, select the categories, and choose the type of rule which you want to add. In SOLIDWORKS 2016, there is a new enhancement. We can directly calculate the cost for an whole assemble. Here you can see the part need to be calculated and cost defined even for an purchased part, as well as the toolbox part we can also calculate the cost. When I hit the begin cost estimation, it calculates the cost automatically and highlights. You can see here the custom operation is 112. Why? Because there are 28 components. For one component it is $4 to cost. For 28 component it is 112 here. And also we can get a report of all assembles for in quotations. So you will get a total report of it. Assemble name, quantity to produce, a lot size, estimated cost per part, cost breakdown, etc. And even for component cost impact can be found out here. So an old report of costing for assemble can be done. The next one is photo view 360 in a build module. So these are all some of the few enhancements has been raised in SOLIDWORKS 2016 what's new. The first one is a render slider, in which I kept the render slider to the left of the part. It provides a less resolution of a rendered image. When I switch to a right side, it provides high quality rendered images. So this is one of the new enhancements. And the second one is when I press a pause button, when I change the appearance at the background of a part, will not be updated into a preview window. So this is also one of the new enhancements. And the third one is a screen resolution proof sheet, in which we can easily change our rendering brightness, background brightness, and scene brightness. Not only stops there, we can switch between the original background part to the current selection part. And also we can adjust the light positions here to get the true shadow of a part. And this is one more enhancement. We can export an animated file with a motion blur. So this such motion blur render animation output AVI file can be generated. Not only that, additionally we can also take the blurred images as a rendered image. So by selecting a final render, it prompts me to select if you want to include a motion blur or not. After selecting that, it will show the dialog which how much you can set the blur length and offsets. Through this you will get a render image like this. Okay. In build, the next one is SOLIDWORKS Visualize. It's a standalone application. It's a SOLIDWORKS Visualize, newly created application for generate high realistic rendered images. It supports without SOLIDWORKS. Now anyone can create the photorealistic image in just easy 5 steps, importing the model, application of material, scenes, cameras, and final render. So here highlights a preview, approximate render, fast, high performance render, and accurate, supports multiple GPU to get good photorealistic images. Application of material is directly drag drop onto the model. We can easily get true on viewport. We can easily edit our material, adjusting the color, texture, and skin reflectivity. And also we can gather the material from the online communities for a free professional asset. Environments can be easily applied by drag and drop onto the viewport. This environment can be dynamically dragged and positioned to get the good shadow effects. And multiple camera can be used for an innovation, new generated idea. By adjusting filter, we can set camera resolutions. By clicking the final render, it will provide you the estimated time in which the images can get ready, and also pause button is available there. So these are all some of the render images which has been created using SOLIDWORKS Visualize. So by having these 4 modules, we are just focusing on design, not the software, solving a complex problem faster and easier, and collaborate. So it streamlines your process, and last, fast track your design to manufacturing. So thank you. Yes. Yes. One more person will be take, sir. The next part, Harish will going to carry on. He will follow that, sir. Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.